into the papers now, see what the headlines are across Nigeria. And I have with me public affairs analyst and chartered accountant, Sheson Kwade. Sheson, good morning. It's good to have you join me right now. Okay, let's head into...
Good morning, Mike.
Great. Let's start with the Daily Trust. Governors violating interstate travel ban. They're hiding under immunity. That's a lawyer saying this. And the police is saying VIPs move at ungodly hours. Ordinary Nigerians at receiving end, and the NGF declines comment on this whole issue. All right, that's the Daily Trust. Now, Blueprint is next. Blueprint newspaper says on PTF on COVID-19 treatment, WHO resumes clinical trials of hydroxychloroquine and threatens fresh lockdown over non-compliance. And certainly it has other riders there from the Blueprint. Daily Times says a decentralized COVID-19 response to local government levels. Okay, and expresses concern over refusal by patients to stay in isolation. Okay, that's the story. Some other stories on Daily Times. National economy is next. Right now, Nigeria leads Africa with 192 innovations in curbing COVID-19. The pandemics could weaken continent's release to climate, or a response rather, to climate change. The IMF is saying this. Now, from there, let's go to the News Direct. Senate probes 1.8 trillion naira power sector intervention fund since 2012, and lawmakers need to focus on policy review. Former NERC chairman is saying this. I'm sure guests will be interested in this. Then let's go to Leadership Friday. COVID-19 threatens treatment of HIV, other terminal ailments. That's what the Leadership newspaper has in there. All right, Sheson, let me come to you on the story on the front page of the News Direct. News Direct says the Senate probes 1.8 trillion naira power sector intervention fund since 2012. Lawmakers need to focus on policy review. Former NERC chairman is saying this. Now, all right. Now, when it comes to different probes of the power sector, we certainly have not seen the last of it yet. It's a recurring thing, but no one gets to the bottom of it. Or if they do, no one gets the outcome of some of the probes they've been initiating since since the past decade, because there has been different probes under different administrations since the last few years. Can you talk to us about this?
Thank you very much, Mike, for this having me around. If you look at what the Senate are actually planning to do, we've had series of probes. And let's see how strategic power sector is to our economy. Since the advent of this democracy, we've seen that power, rather than improving it, we have been retrogressing. In 2012, that they want to start the probe, the generation at that point in time has been dangling between 2,500 megawatts, and up till now, we keep having failures and failures. And just like what the former NEC boss said, I think we should shy away from take off this, even though they have an oversight function of this thing, to look at having the right policy that will guide that intermittently. We are talking of probing from 2012, of where so many failures. How many of the probes that we have done, even in other sectors, have we brought those that actually perpetrated the evil to justice? None. But rather than doing this, I think the way forward is to make sure that we go in the line of having the right policy to continuously monitor activities as they unfold, rather than waiting for a very long period of time before we respond to issues so that the people can benefit. Power sector is very strategic to the growth of our economy. And if this is not addressed on time, we'll see ourselves entering into poverty the more and having inflation rates increasing all the time. As I speak to you, Mike, we keep having series of failure on the part of electricity. A common man cannot boast of it, and that's why you see people that are to be artisans that should contribute to the common economy are having to go on the part of the business like riding bike and some other things, which is really impacting into our economy. It has debarred us even from creativity. People that should be creative to do so many other things are doing all this manual work that is not expected of them. So it's not just probing, but to have the right policy in place that will continually checkmate some of the interventions that is being given to this sector.
All right. Sheson, the Senate president at the time has said that something was basically wrong with the privatization policy and the way it was done in the power sector, and there was the need to revisit the way that NEPA at the time was, or PHCN as the case may be, was unbundled and then privatized to those who took them over. Do you think that is where it should even start from in the first place?
Mike, when this privatization was done 5 years ago, we were made to understand that due process were followed and the people that can actually give the best services were contracted. But 5 years down the drain, you and I know that we have not moved a step forward. And that's why we are having a revisit to this privatization stuff. It is not revisiting it, because it's like you take it out from somebody and we are still going to face the same thing if it's revisited. But as we speak, we already know this kind of the people that we have in the privatization who bought over some of these distribution companies. All we need to do is, what are the challenges? Give them KPI. These are your key performance index. Check on them either biannually to monitor the progress that they are making. It is not taking it over from them that they have failed. They are not actually failed outrightly, because there are so many aspects of this thing that we need to know. There are aspects of the government. When they were taking over, this distribution company has a peg and said, we are going to increase our tariff to a certain rate. Up till now, through MITO, up till now, they've not had the opportunity, and it's impending too on their own operational costs. It's impending on them for them to make available the necessary infrastructure. So it's a two-way thing. The government on its part has not fulfilled the part of that contract that they said they are going to do. All we keep hearing is that intervention fund has been provided, but when they are provided, they will follow through to make sure that what we expect them to use the intervention fund for are being done. So I don't see that we should, if we are revisiting it, rather than taking it away from them, let's ask of what the problems are, put it in place, because the devil you know now is better than the angel that is coming newly.
Okay. Now, before I let you go, so some experts have said, in fact, government on the other hand has said that the contract the government-to-government contract that was signed by Siemens of Germany will be able to bring a lasting solution to the power issues in Nigeria. Is that should that be the magic wand in the power sector now?
Mike, not until when we see them exhibit it. You see, some of these companies that we see outside perform there because right policies are put in place. But in this part of the world, they come in and they see that there are no serious will on the political will on the part of our government, and they do shady things and they get away with it. Well, we want to see how this will play around. I'm sure they have given them some set target. We are being told that by the end of next year, we should see improvement in generation. Not only generation, they are going to work also with the distribution company to make sure that people, the end result, so many of the transformers that we have needs to be changed. So many substations needs to be rebuilt so that we can enjoy that thing. So, Mike, not until when we see them play the card, that's when we're. But we need the political will on the part of our government to seriously monitor every activities that Siemens has promised so that we can get the dividend of what they have come to do.
All right. Sheson Kwade, thank you so much for your time on the program.